Some of us have some friends that when you get advice from them, you wonder, like, why do you even bother to remember their name? You know. But I do have some friends that I've met through racing, and they've been giving me some pretty good advice that we need to get locked down. We need to be strapped in tighter than ever. So we're going to go ahead and start installing a roll bar on the 65 Mustang. This is going to be a weld-in. It's not a bolt-in. It's from Rhodes race cars, and this is going to be kind of that step forward so that I can get racing seats, a nice 5-point, 6-point harness, and we'll be strapped in. Because if you don't have to fight to keep yourself strapped to the car like I do, because I have just your normal over-the-shoulder seat belt in vinyl seats. Okay, yes, I know for the people who have seen the car in person, it has heavy bolstering. It does feel nice, does feel comfortable, great for driving on the street. But when we're on the racetrack, when I'm on the racetrack and I'm going through turns, technical sections, I am sliding all over the place, because one, the 3-point harness only does so good of holding me into the car, because right, it's meant to be comfortable. It's meant to have that little, so that you can kind of move about, things like that. Well, we need a harness that straps you in, and then the seat. We need something that has a little bit of friction to it. The vinyl seats, you're sliding all over the place. You know, there's no way dancing about it, because you're dancing in the seat. So the racing seats, they'll be made of cloth. They'll be fitted tightly to the seat that gets bolted in to the thing, which is another point of movement. We're going to eliminate the rail system on the racing seat so that there's no adjustment. You don't slide forward, backwards. You are bolted in. It doesn't move. Okay, that's the point. And the benefits of that being strapped in: one, you work less to drive the car. Two, you feel the car. You feel the traction. You feel every little thing, and it just gets you. It goes so much further for you understanding what's happening with the car in the situation that you're in. So we have to remove some interior parts. There's something I'd like to do and to keep in mind when installing this roll bar, because obviously it's going to be kind of like right here. I'm thinking these seat belts are probably not going to be there anymore, or at least not bolted down in that location anymore. Because if I want to try to keep the back seat, you know, like not do a back seat delete, then I'm wondering if that's going to be relocated. But the idea would, let's try to think this out. Because I'd like to be able to keep the over-the-shoulder seat belts for if I'm not racing, you know, and we basically keep these seats in the car for daily driving, right? Like, we're not going to the track anytime soon. We just want to say, you know, just ride comfortably, right? Instead of having just a fixed back racing seat in here all the time. So I want to see if I can't keep the option of keeping the seat belts somehow. If I can't, I can't. Because priority is going to be the roll cage. Priority of the fitment is going to be the roll cage, because safety, things like that. Plus, besides, this is adjustable. We can move this over here, or something like that, and it'll still do its thing, retract, and it can be just adjusted, right? So So just we'll keep that in mind. Yeah, but also, by the way, if you've never done this before, you probably want to get some supervision or get a professional to install your roll bar. Okay, I have done something like this before, a couple times. Not an expert. I'm not a professional. Don't ask me, because I'm not. Even if you pay me money, I'm not even going to do it. So, so just FYI for anybody who's getting an idea. Oh, go get Ryan to install my roll bar. No. Don't. Nope, not me. Find someone else. But I'm going to do mine because that's how we do it here. You know, it's budget friendly for me to install it. Plus, I have all the welding equipment to take care of everything, and I feel confident in myself to race this car without one, so probably having one isn't going to be too much of an increased danger. So all right, so we got driver's seat out. I need to start kind of taking that out. The back seats definitely have to come out. These panels likely have to come out. Hopefully, like I said, we can keep the back seat, and then those upper bars can go through this little spot over here. That would be cool. All right. In the passenger seat, if I can't get away with just doing the seatbelt fasteners over here and like folding it over. Same with the other side. Same with the passenger side. See if I can't just fold the carpet over and get away with all the work that I need to take care of in this section of the floorboard, because that's basically what holds the carpet down. And I mean, I'd like to keep the carpet. Okay. The seat bracket. Anyway. So we can fold this guy. Alright, so carpet out the way. We'll manage the speaker wires because that's the only thing electrical over here. I'm imagining we're going to be welding the plates, the little landing plates right here. Same with the other side. We definitely got to clean this up to bare metal, no doubt, for sure, absolutely. And then when I get the main hoop in here and kind of set up where it kind of is going to be, I'll need to figure out the where the bars that'll go from main hoop down to where they go. Boy, oh boy. I would like to keep some kind of interior in this car. I really hope I'm not gonna gut it. Like I like the headliner, because underneath the headliner it's ugly. Same with the sail panels. The sail panels kind of it's hiding that good old age, but nonetheless, let's keep trucking. Actually, I'm gonna go grab that hoop, kind of set it in place. Let's see how things look. All right, sneak this guy in here. Oh yeah, so much easier when there's no seats here. Okay. So that's a little tall. Little tall. Let's try to. I say half an inch. Man, I'm kind of wanting to just cut the whole inch right there. Let's stick with half an inch. Just not deviate. Half an inch went a long way as far as helping that to fit a little better, but we need to go, I think, another half inch. trimmed. So for you tallying that up, that's 1 whole inch off of the bottom of this, so that we can get that fitment. Damn. Okay, so we are we are close. We are. All right, another 1/2 inch. Ooh, I'm liking it. So we're not fighting. Oh no, my trim piece. We should have enough. We should have enough space because we should be able to take this and like pull it forward and lean it a little bit, maybe. Or lean it forward, maybe bring it forward and then make the weld on top. Because yeah, that's important. You have to make sure you have full complete welds. Yeah, we're definitely, and looking at where these are landing, looking at where these hoops are going to be landing, we will definitely be relocating the seat belt. All right, so we're gonna utilize these stock holes. But obviously this is an even fish mouth cut, so that it can go and it can basically get welded to a flat part of the bar, which this is a straight flat bar. This right here is lining up with that to land right here to go through there. So no instructions needed on this one. However, we are a bit long. So in order for us to get that kind of angle upward, we're going to definitely need to get, you know, because that's how it's going to go. It's going to go kind of like right there, bam. Except for that's way too long. Now let's go to the trunk area. And that's going to put us to where we're going to be basically welding the plate about right here, which is nice and convenient. All right, so we need to trim this piece, and I got to figure out how long to trim the piece. I don't know how long I need to trim it. Let's see. First off, I guess. So just double check my main hoop, make sure that it's kind of in place. So that's about 4. This is where geometry and triangles matter. Spirit of cut twice, don't ruin your roll bar. We're gonna cut that in half. Let's cut 6 inches off, and let's see how far that translates. All right. I like where it's landing through there. I have my tape measure. So last time we did this, and I'm terrible at angles. This is why I'm rather taking the baby steps of like cut, fit. You know, I'd rather do that than be on the phone with, hey Rhodes, I cut a bar too short. And I definitely don't want to be that guy that, why is there a little intermediate weld in the straight section? I don't want to do that either. So, so right now we cut, so we measured that the tip of this guy was 12 inches from the face of that guy, and we cut 6 inches, and we got this close. So let's see, 6 1/4. 6 1/4. So now we're at 6 1/4. So 6 inches. That means this isn't quite a 45-degree angle. It moved us from that would mean if we cut another 6. All right, I think we're gonna go cut 4. All right, so 3. So this is 3 inches off. Ooh. Should have got the whole 6 inches. Okay. We are so close. Oh. It's like... Alright. I got another inch. I think that's it, yeah. So, at this point, next step, so the next step that I'm imagining, there's a pretty good gap right here. So I'm gonna have to get a grinder, massage his mouth over here so that we have decent fitment. And we have to trim this inside a whole lot more so that, because like, so length is pretty good. We're pretty close, pretty spot on. I know where I'm going to land, kind of back there, but we need to get this fitment to the spot where it's landing on the main hoop. We're going to have to touch this guy up with the grinder and kind of pull back some of this so that this part gets closer to the hoop. I don't know, this looks like a pretty even fish mouth. So for the most part, I need to one side. It seems like maybe this one out of the 2 sides for this one, this needs to be just opened out, kind of like grinded down. Keep this alone. This is good, but we just need to bring this back so that it just has a better flush fit. So when I go to TIG weld this, it'll make for a stronger joint, and I don't have to make some sort of crazy wild 1/4 inch fill. I got the gap much tighter, much tighter. So if I hold it in place, kind of about where I'm going to have it, I can definitely make that weld. It's got a little bit of a bevel in there. This part is not terrible of a gap, but definitely weldable. Super tight down below over here, and yeah. So now we need to fit up the passenger side. This is the driver's side. We just need to fit up the passenger side, get that guy going, and once we have driver's side fitting, we fit up the passenger side. We're gonna fit the crossbar, the harness bar that kind of comes across. Floor plates. We'll have to weld floor plates down here in the driver wheel, or in the driver seat area where we're sitting right now, and then we have to go into the trunk and weld plates there as well. So, but first we need to get all the bars fitting nicely. Might be a dumb way to do it, but if it works, that ain't so dumb now, is it? Now clearly, that's not gonna fly. Okay, so right now I got it being held onto that roll bar way up there. So this is pretty darn close to how it's gonna fit. Now we will not be welding this kind of a gap. You know, that's not gonna work. Okay, what we want to do is we want to make a cut. Pay attention. Okay. Basically, we want to make a cut and slice it across the pipe so that it fits flat onto this surface. Okay. Now, what we get is pretty damn close. Is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark that this is the top of the pipe, right? That's top of the pipe, right? Basically, when you're looking at it. And then what I'm gonna do is, because this is 1 3/4 pipe, I'm going to take that distance up and slice it from from that side to this edge, and then that way it'll get us about at least close to like a 45 degree, and then we'll use the grinder to kind of flatten it, get a better fit. Surprisingly, I hit my mark. I didn't think I was going to hit the mark. I thought I was going to come, I guess I did like an 1/8 of an inch short, but we're going to be grinding these to fit anyway. Alright, so kind of have this resting in place. Same with that guy. They're about even. They look even going through those holes. Ugh. Alright, so that's not terrible. So just a little bit of touch up on that, and then just to lay that guy down a little more as well. That's gonna be pretty easy work. The next process is to, so right now we need to trim and fabricate all of the floor plates so that they all fit flush and they all get welded to the floor completely. We're not going to have no floating plates or anything like that. So if we have one that overhangs like a ledge, kind of like these plates by the doors or the main hoop, we need to have extra material where we're going to cut them out and we're going to build little box sides to it, and that was weird. So because when we weld this thing together, to be super mindful in the order of how you weld this up, or you'll box yourself out and you'll end up cutting stuff out and things like that. So all right, so fast forward a little bit. I've cut out some of these little strips from one of the spare material I have so that we can fit this guy and basically get it to fit right here, and we'll trim it, weld it, whatever we're gonna do to get it in there. But basically, all right, so a lot of grinding, a lot of welding. Got one side done, got the other side done. All right, I don't know what's wrong with the lens. It's hot and muggy. That's all I can explain. But I kind of did a little bit of a no-no. I kind of welded this thing up, and already kind of got a coat of paint on it. So here's where we're at. So this is a very delicate process. Obviously, we got the box and plates welded down. I got a ratchet strap because that's what's holding it in enough so that it, one, I can weld around it, and two, it's going to mount, give its best leverage in the center of that plate. I've got these welded where they need to be welded so that those guys land in the back right over here, because we got to weld that in. But we got to flip the car around, put the back of the car toward this side of the garage so we have better access to the welder so we can weld it. Because obviously if we MIG or flux core around the gas tank, that's probably not a good idea. I don't know about you, but to me that doesn't sound like a good idea. Anyways, so I've got this done basically, and then of course I did paint right here, and we will have to put, this is my harness bar, which I measured, and I know how high it needs to be for a seat to get mounted here, but we're gonna have to clean off the paint. No big deal. We got things to do, because when we tilt this guy back and put it into position, we'll have to make 1, 2, 3, 4 welds, and then basically scuff off the paint and weld one, 2 more, last 2 welds, and then basically we've got our roll bar put in, and we can remount our seats and things back in there. Probably not going to be remounting the rear seat. The rear seat is it's going to be quite intrusive. Maybe I might try to see if I can't cut and modify the seat so it's kind of just something back there, but I think we've lost rear seat. Head to your local Ace Hardware for racing seats. Alright, I've been doing a terrible job of explaining how I've installed or documenting the installation of this Rhodes race cars roll bar that I have in the Mustang. So, I have it painted. I need to clean the car up for sure. So, it looks like I might be able to keep these seat belts. Maybe I can like slip them through right here. But yeah, as you can see, it's in here. It's close to the headliner. I wanted to make sure that there was room because, man, as much as I want to be competitive and super safe and have, you know, everything installed, I basically installed this guy so that I could still kind of maintain an interior. It still kind of has some kind of sense of a sensible street car, I guess you could say. Super solid, this thing is. Love the POR 15 top coat paint that kind of went on there. It's not super smooth. I guess the finish and how I just not what I expected it, but it's kind of has a glossy black. I didn't lay it down super flat. I probably could have done a better job with that. Maybe I can sand it and then put another fresh coat on top of it, and then maybe that would help. But anyways, I basically have it welded in. Put the plates in, boxed in the plates that weld to the floorboards. The roll bar, use ratchet straps to make sure they kind of somewhat go down on center. That it's kind of even, everything's level, squared, all that good stuff. And now I need to basically see if I can't put in the interior. I definitely could probably put the front seat in. You know, I need to put this seat bracket in, bolt the seats down, front seats in. Now the rear seats, obviously those were, I even forgot I had those back there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove those. Those were like the rear seat belts, so I don't need that. Anyways, I'll remove those. I'm going to try to put in the rear seat, but obviously since we have these bars kind of going through, we're going to have to modify the frame of the seat. That is my original 1965 seat. So we're going to have to cut the frame so that the bar can slide past. All right, so got the little deck vinyl cover put together. We got the rear seat belts removed because they're useless. All sort of new. It's definitely not going back together how it came apart, but that's because we made some modifications, obviously. So I have this big, large box plate that covered up where this guy mounts to the floorboard. So nicely, carpet, middle back seat area carpet. We haven't figured out how to get carpet on the front, but for the most part, I don't want carpet underneath the foot pedals because they get stuck, things like that. But basically, we are kind of hiding our base plate, roll bars real nicely. Basically, the carpet's perfect position to just lay down the bottom of the seat so that we can have our rear seat kind of put down in place. I think that'd be the next thing. And then we really got to get a modification for the back upper. Whew, okay, that is a tight fit, but we got the bottom cushion into place. All right, this is going to be the hard part. So, back of these seats, right? So this is the bottom, right? This is the top. So somewhere in this area, I'm going to have to just cut a section of this frame away because the bars, that's where they're going to come in from, you know. This is kind of flexible, so hopefully I can kind of move it, but for the most part, the seat more or less is about to get mutilated a little bit. So kind of looking through the back glass, you can see the seats, it's a little higher, but our trimming worked out probably as good as someone who doesn't work interior can. I mean, depending on the angle that you're looking, kind of looks like a back seat with bars going through the middle of it. But it at least covers that whole situation up. It seems pretty secure back there. And now I can move on to getting these guys put in and basically kind of get back to somewhat of a full interior. And there we have it. We have the seats back into the car with our new roll bar. Currently we're waiting for harnesses to come back. You can see, to me, that's pretty nice because your shoulders actually come up to like right up here, so that will give you a nice upward slope, but it's not going to be too dramatic of an angle. So pretty much seat angle is back to where it used to be. The seat belts for now are still functional, so we'll have seat belts for us to go drive around with these kind of sporty bucket seats. Until we get racing seats, until we get the harnesses for the racing seats, that's pretty much the missing puzzle here. And I think I think we have a couple picks in mind. Haven't really definitively decided on one or the other. I would preferably like them to sit low because I'm not a tall guy, but the cars were made for people who weren't as tall as the average guy in present time was. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the roll bar. This is the Rhodes race cars roll bar. It's going to serve the function of having a place for a harness. We can get racing seats. We'll be strapped in. Stiffens up the chassis a little bit. We kind of keep some sort of normal appearance with the back seat still being in the car instead of like a rear seat delete. A rear seat delete, I will say, might be a little cleaner. I'm just going to take advantage of having a rear seat for as long as I possibly can. But anyways, that's going to basically conclude this. Hit the like button down below. Comment your thoughts on roll bar, roll cage, 8-point, 6-point, 4-point, whatever the case may be. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm terribly sorry that this video probably is extremely choppy, and I have a little bit more housekeeping to do. As you can see, my dash is filthy. And if it's your first time here, why don't you think of subscribing? Stay tuned because we have some exciting things about to come up. All right, see you guys later.